I doubt it. Hey, everybody, and a good afternoon. You've joined the wicked lady hippie at the bar, which thank God is at my house. For those of you who are new, retired Army veteran, published author, mother of one, grandmother of two, oldest grandson is also an Army veteran because, well, I was his grandma. So that's another book I should write. So it's good to see everybody up here this morning. I'm going to throw some live chat up. If you don't catch me, if you haven't subscribed, you guys know it's free, right? This is why I do this shit. It's a free I can talk to anybody anywhere. Now, there's a lot of hippies in the United States, that I'm sure of. It seems like everybody is just actually scared stupid to use the medium and get up here and do things like Minnesota's stole how many billion? They have one fucking job, the governor does. One. That's run the city, the state, federal government the way the people want it to be. That's why there's a constitution, Bill of Rights, yada yada, the thing, yeah. They're not fucking listening to shit. Oh yeah, this is a bar, by the way. Kids aren't allowed. So I take my kid everywhere. He was born in Heidelberg, Germany, and whenever I wanted to go play pool and have a couple of beers, I just tucked him in, went off. Can't do that anymore. I think that's something that could be missed. Although I think England still might do it. It's been a while. I've been over there. So today it's absolutely is every other day. It's me. I don't have a hairdresser. I don't have a makeup artist. I don't have somebody on sound and mix and lights and mics and all of that. It's just me, which is obviously why it's free. I have a lot of friends. I'm the last surviving member of my immediate family, so I have just my son and grandchildren. I also have step grandchildren through my marriage and a stepdaughter. She's wonderful. She's a nurse. And my son is civil service, so top you can get, just like I did when I got out of the military. You just kind of can't leave the government. Once you've been in there, it's like old home week. The VA has been my caregiver since I was 17 because I enlisted at 17. I was one of them brainiacs, reading college level at 9 and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was not a good idea. For those of you, check out me and see if it's changed. We were the first group of women to become regular soldiers. We had gotten on the plane and we were going to WAC training, Women's Auxiliary Corps. It had the waves, the WAFs, but they weren't regular. Your generations, anybody below my age is used to. What was she talking about? We were the first company. There was 5 in a battalion when we were Bravo 3rd, and we were the company of women. They told us we didn't have to stay. They wouldn't give us a bad discharge or any of that, or that we could try. And I got a lot of crap because I had some chevrons. I had rank. When you go into boot camp, technically, almost everybody is what they call a trainee. They're not even a buck private. I was past buck private. So, and then the Army shit does not roll downhill. It fucking rolls uphill. Again, no kids allowed. It's a bar. I mean, I might be at home, but I'm comfortable as hell. So that kind of shaped my life. The one thing was we'd been up for like 4 freaking days by the time we got into the billet area. And the battalion's like apartment buildings, these big ones. So Bravo was, a whole company. And you have so forth, so on. And we're in this big area, staging area, where they would come to find out, train us, and have us do calisthenics, and finally go to chow and freeze to death for 4 or 5 hours and shit like that. It was fun. South Carolina, Fort Jackson, that's where I trained. We were the first ones. And now we have fighter pilots. It's so cool. I don't care what anybody says, man, we kicked that door down. I mean, we could have just so fucked this. I thought they was funny anyway, because he said, we're Vietnam Rangers, airborne Rangers, and we jump off of helicopters and kill people. So we're not going to be real nice to you women. You are soldiers now. You're not women. I don't want to see any lipstick. The first one that sashays is going to have a problem. Meanwhile, about that time, I lost it. I don't know if you've ever been up like even 2 nights. But when you're walking 4 days and nights, yeah, you are nuts. I busted it. And we were all sitting on the floor with all of our stuff. And he says, "Hey, Bullock, I got your sheet here. It says you're from Illinois, you're from Chicago. Did they get that right?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." No, sir. Drill sergeant. Yes, drill sergeant. They got that right. I'm thinking, what the hell they do now? And so of course he said, "Well, from now on your name's Wicked." And I'm looking at him and I'm still dying laughing. He says, "Because you have to be actually wicked to turn around and look me in the face and laugh." It's like everybody else could quit laughing by there. I just couldn't stop. And the more he said, the more it cracked me up. And finally, I was able to get under control because he began to move on. But it's followed me all these years. Of course, I'm no longer 17. I'm not any teen anything. So thank you. I know I make this look good. I would give away my age, but you don't know. It's a state secret. It's like that sometimes. So whatever anybody wants to do, pop in, comment, it's on live stream so you can deal with it in real time. And you may not want to. If you schedule things with me ahead of time, we can do, the double screen, do the Zoom call. We can figure all that out. I generally don't drop any videos because I figure everybody's seen them 100 million times, and I don't see the point in. Maybe it's because I'm a published author. It seems like plagiarism. Oh, look, they've got that posted on their site. I'll leave a note to everybody. They think that's my husband. Tell everybody to go to their site. I'm like, they've been to the site. Why do I need to? Why am I wasting their time? It's like 20 seconds they can't get back. I knew it was my husband. I have to answer. Yes, darling, I'm broadcasting. And Moistful, we're almost out of as well. And my cigars. And would you believe I'm on my last little whiskey? I know, right? Everything at one time. Okay, you got that, darling? Yeah, okay. Bye. We can't coordinate or shit. We retired a couple of years ago now. I was in a terrific accident. I should say horrific, but it was a bad one. And it took me literally a year after I was repaired and steel put in and pins put in and all this crap. That's what they said anyway. And at my age, I love that. You're not going to quite recover completely because of your just really, you just couldn't have sat on that part. So I was already broadcasting for months when it happened, about almost a year, when I had said I was interested in doing it. My husband and my son got me started podcast kits, and my husband knew I loved the golden mic. Da-da. And so he got me the second one. He got me a bigger set and with the golden mic, and then I could have guests. And it turns out nobody wants to be a guest. I'm not Bill Maher. Love you, Bill. Saw you tonight. Johnny Carson. Love you, babe. I love the bar. When I first started this on this big bar, and there's a thing behind that too, but I'll put it this way. My husband and I both have beaten cancer, and he wanted a bar, but he thought it was a small corner bar, and it wasn't. So we have this huge bar with this huge mirror, and then we added an island that was perfect on the one side, blocked off the second kitchen doorway, and added a refrigerator. It's got an ice maker. It's all this stuff underneath. You've got wine racks and stuff. You got racks for some of your stemware. So we got rid of all the stuff in the house and bought new furniture. And then I said, because I was broadcasting from the bar because we were renovating, obviously, and I was intending to open my studio upstairs where we had placed 2 apartments, made them into during the pandemic. So when my grandson flew in from Korea and he had decided to become a civilian, and I couldn't blame him a bit. So he stayed with us through a little over a year of that pandemic. And that was my husband's, I don't know, I'm a man cave, whatever you want to call it. I was just glad he was up there. So, excuse me. But after the accident, he stayed with me, and he had gotten where he slept upstairs because he had throat cancer, and outside you could hear him breathing when he slept, so you just couldn't sleep there. And I tried to for like a couple of years, and finally I was like, "This, it's a great new bed up there. I bet you could try that out." Then he was back. His home was weird. And I found that if you have not used crutches like your entire life, you will have somebody, I hope, to catch you, because after my fifth step, I'm yelling, catch me, because my other leg wouldn't hold me up. And I couldn't even get to that stage. I was in a wheelchair. I was bound in a wheelchair, basically bedbound or a wheelchair, in and out to surgeons. It was always fun. So that's my background. If anybody wants to know, or and if you don't, well, oh, damn well anyway. I like to get up here. I'm allowed to have one of my cigarillos. I had to quit smoking. It's like my life has turned to shit since I retired. I had to quit smoking. Medically, they all had a fit. I was coughing up blood or some shit. Yeah. So, you can't get out of life alive. You might as well enjoy it. So I didn't think too much about it. We have friends that come to the bar. We party here. Wish somebody would bring some alcohol. But anyway, actually, several do. Um, so here we are. We're doing this. And a friend of mine pulled one of these out. And my husband had a fit because I said I jumped on it immediately. I had not seen one in the States. This is a bit bigger and longer than the shirts I used to have in Europe, but it kind of threw me back. And my husband said God let me try one. They're fairly expensive. And my husband said, "You can have. I'll let you do this." Because I was vaping, because I could, and that wasn't helping a lot. He says, "You can have that because it goes out, but you can't buy a whole pack. I'll buy them for you. Put them in the humidifier for you, and you can have them only when you're broadcasting, and that's when you have your whiskey on the rocks." I was like, "Okay, we can do that." So you have to excuse me. This is one time I get to smoke. Mm. For some reason, my timer is not showing, and I'm not sure why. Excuse me. I see they moved it over here. Okay. Yeah, I have to learn as I go along, apparently. So I did, like I said, the show for about a year and then got horrifically injured, went through all that crap, came back. The channel had been paused because I had not done it. My eyebrows hurt. So I was like, I did nothing during this time. And then I'll treat you for pain. They tell you Tylenol extra strength is the best for you. And I always wanted to just bitch slap them, stupid, and give them a couple of extra strength fucking Tylenol and tell them to have a damn good day. I'm still not so sure I won't try that anyway and just tell them I've seen now. Yeah, they frown on that kind of shit in the hospital. Huh? Mm. There's all kinds of shit going on that I could talk about. Oh, Hillary Clinton. Love that bride. She just keeps on giving, that woman. She really keeps on giving. More and more shit. That woman is so buried in shit that I think it would take about a year or so to dig her out with a backhoe. Just, oh, they'll call her Hillary for nothing. Now, of course, that's alleged. It's all alleged. This is for entertainment purposes only. If the black Hueys are landing in my backyard, oh, I got nothing else better to schedule for the afternoon. I go see the Fly Boys. I'm good with that. Friends of mine have said that they are scared to get up to be on live air to do a show with me because somebody could take offense if they said something. It's like, that's what this is for. It's so you have freedom of speech and you can have an intellectual conversation with somebody. You can make jokes. You can hopefully not fight. I love a good debate, but fighting is really not for me anymore, although I have plenty of weapons. So I'm old. I don't run as fast. So, I have sights, laser sights. I'll reach out and tap your ass in a heartbeat. Probably tap it twice before you get to the ground. Got a couple of tasers. Those are fun to think about if somebody's crawling my way. I'm not letting them get that close. Are you nuts? Uh-uh. I will tell every woman I see through here or any other medium, if you have a weapon and you've had your training, go to the sheriff's department, whoever's doing it. I prefer the sheriff's department when I renew mine. And I used to teach like the firemen CPR and all that stuff long before we had these people showing up, and they're really just ambulance drivers, but they call them. And they're good. I mean, they would. I don't want to talk about how bad they were on it with me. Oh, it was bad. It was really bad. They had to wait for another person to come just to medicate me so that I could quit screaming. One of the ambulance drivers, I call him that. They were very sweet people. They were very kind. And he was like, "Get this pillow. Get that pillow." So she's not just holding, because I was holding myself by my hands, and because I was frozen in place. I couldn't be moved. And my husband didn't do it right. So he got up and he got the couch cushions off and put those behind me. My husband brought this little square pillow. The other guy got against the wall. I'm at the end of the staircase and I'm just stuck right in front of the front door. Um, I had managed to pick up my leg by my nylons and turn it a quarter, I guess you'd say a quarter of a circle, so that I was now facing the living room and not the door. I screamed a hell of a lot, but I managed to do that thinking, well, now they can get the door open. Turns out not so much. So my advice is to, if you can have a conversation now with your doctor, I would have to tell him I don't trust Tylenol, any kind of strength. It won't even fix one of my headaches. I take Anacin, which is an NSAID, and that helps a lot. That's over the counter. You get it at Walmart. It's like $5 for 100. It's a great deal, and they work really good, especially on headaches. And I every day have one type or another of a headache. And if I don't treat it immediately, I know what that means. That means I go into migraine headache. And they don't treat you for pain. They don't do any of that anymore. If you can be as broken as I was, and they're telling you to take Tylenol and you don't kill them, I'd love to meet you. Because if I could have got up, I don't think they could have run fast enough. But they do finally do some things about the pain. The hurricane hit the day I was due to have surgery. Hurricane Helene, they tore the slap shit out of Augusta. Not a damn thing was on. Nothing was working. Nothing was open. Not one hospital. It had to be an emergency only. They can get you into the air. And I think they were life flighting many of the people that were coming in. It was horrific. We you couldn't do anything. And here I was stuck, and I was held together literally by, just band-aids, it seemed like to me. These little side casts that they had on it, then they'd wrapped them with these wraps. And I guess that stabilized me enough for the weight of the swelling to go down to go get this massive surgeries done. And of course, the hurricane hits, and I waited another 2 weeks. Well, the VA still wasn't back. It's the VA. And so they sent me out to the Augusta University, which is attached to the VA here. So I went to see the surgeon 2 weeks to the day after the hurricane, and the hurricane was 2 weeks after the day that I was injured so badly. So it had been a month. And the surgeon looked at me, talked to me, checked my pulse and all that. And they had already done all that. And he's looking in my eyes, and I'm thinking, it's down here. Little low. So he's like, "You've been like this for a month?" And I said, "Oh, yeah. Nothing." He said, "I don't care. You'll be here tomorrow at 4:30. That's 7 hours from now. Once you're here, it's time to fix you. It's past time to fix you. And I apologize for every surgeon on this planet that this is not done already." He said, "You should have been life lifted out of here a month ago." And I was like, I mean, luckily my husband was my only caregiver. I was only about 6 feet away from the master bathroom and stuff, so that I could get those few feet if he wasn't there to help. And it got better. It just, I couldn't do anything. And even after they done surgery for 15 hours, and that put me in, back in the bed, you can't do anything. But he did medicate me. Not very well, but he did do better than the Tylenol. So it's been a rough year. So when I went back to the channel, which had been suspended, it kept acting up. So we now have the new channel. You can see both. You can pull something from either one if you'd like. If there's any video that you would like to talk about, tell me you saw a ghost video, whatever, we can drop it. Or you just get up here, you do the live chat, you hit the comments, and I'll get back to you. Again, I would love to have somebody that's not frightened come on the show and we're just hippies. We're just talking. It's what we hippies do. It's sex, loves, and drugs and rock and roll. I mean, it was a damn good time. The 70s really rocked it. That show is not kidding. I mean, it really rocked it. I love that 70s show because my best friends were one house from us and we all hung out in the basement. Had the same freezer, had the same popsicles. The only thing they missed was we had a pool table and a little TV down there. You had to hold your arm out, put the tin foil on, and we arm back over this one. Record player, no speakers, just the speaker and the record player. And they told us to turn that shit down. Your phone plays louder. Excuse me. I do not know why they call it a phone because it's a computer. It's a supercomputer. This phone, and I have a Droid. I don't need a $2,000 phone. It's a phone to me, but it has enough capability in it, and it has more capability in it than the NSA had to send the first man to the moon. You have more than that in your what we call phone. Well, at least they usually say smartphone now, which again tickles my fancy. Did anybody see like Men in Black, I Robot, any of those? Because open the pod bay doors, hell. I mean, now they got this AI out. My generation was the one that started with the phone that was on the wall, and you had to be a linebacker when it rang if you wanted to answer it. I said, screw it. I'll let anybody answer if they want to. I'm like, no, it's a hard no. We'll watch you idiots. You tell me who the fuck it is. I'm not wrestling for that bitch name. Nobody I need to talk to that bad. My husband started me in 1989. He insisted, this is back when beepers were up, insisted on my having a cell phone. And back then you could call them in the house and it still cost you $4.50 for 30 seconds. Oh my God, the bills we used to get. Sprint was horrific. We finally changed ours. It was in the middle 90s and I changed and I went with another company. And everything's been great ever since. We've had no trouble with them, no change in our policies, no change in our numbers. We can't upgrade a phone, keep saying never. We like all that stuff. And it's auto payment, and it's the same payment. They don't take out 4 payments. Go, I will just give you credit. I'm going to find you. That's theft, bitch. And that happened to us with one of the cable companies and DirecTV as well. They don't give you your money back. They just tell you they'll credit you your money. You might not have been able to lose $350 that month until whatever. You're like, excuse me? That's 2 payments and I kind of need my money back. Doesn't work. So that's always funny to me. Being retired, I seem to be incredibly busy. Way more busy than I used to be with a couple of jobs, college kid, all that stuff. Don't know why. Especially since I'm on my rehabilitation, as opposed to what I say anyway, which is also why the whiskey in the afternoons helps out a lot. And for some reason, and it could just be my age, I have to retire early, which I don't mean so much as sleep. I mean, I have to retire early. I do other things and, run through. And I usually don't edit these guys. They're live for a reason. This is me. Take it or leave it. I'm hoping you guys, you don't have to take it now. Don't come get me. You'd be bored stiff or ready to commit homicide if I was with you very long. But if there is anybody around with share the video. Tell me what you think of it. I've been getting some cute statements. I really have. And it's been great getting back on my feet. We've lived here. This is the longest I've ever lived in my life here in Augusta. And I didn't, of course, get around. And they built a new Kroger. It's a mile from us. I mean, I can walk. So and my hairdresser too walked in if I could walk. So I love the ones at Kroger though. They brought in more generators, and the next, I think it was in 3 days or 4 days, Kroger was up and running. Walmart took weeks before they. I mean, they had to wait for the grid to come up. We were down in our house for almost 2 weeks because there were so many poles and so many wires that snapped and were, our wires were even pulled out of the house, leaving a hole. I mean, we were lucky. He had the big RV and the tow behind RV on the side of the house on one side, and he had 2 big boats on the other side of the house. And we had the glass patio furniture and all that stuff, glass table, grill and all that in the back. And in the front, I had a black wire seating. I still do, iron uh, bench seat and 2 other seats and a coffee table that's glass. And then at the other end of the porch, we hung out at the porch a lot. We have a rattan type chair and that seats 4, and it's also glass. And we were shocked. I couldn't even get out there to look at this because he had tried to get me in the car, and the VA called and said, "Don't bother to try to get here. The surgeons aren't gonna make it. We'll get back to you." So it was back, trying to get me back in and do all that. And this was in the midst of this hurricane and the tornadoes. We knew at least one tornado came through because of how the debris pattern was. We were so lucky. Um, because they said it was a rain event, and we had plus. I had Walmart plus, Kroger plus everything because I couldn't get around, so I haven't delivered. And I even remembered that I said, "Oh, it's gonna be a lot of rain. I'm gonna go ahead and get some food and litter and have that all brought in tonight, and we won't have to go out tomorrow or the next day." There's like a 3-day rain event is how they described it to us, the damned idiots. And so, I thought I was smart, got this stuff. I should have bought a couple 100 pounds worth because, like I said, nothing was open. You had to go find Athens, I think, was the closest to us that was open. But when Kroger opened, the lines were so long. This is right here at the base. Every time I move or whatever I do, I'm at the exit for the base, or maybe one exit from. I'm always next to the base when even though as a civilian, and I'm always on the base eventually, one way or the other. So this was bad. It was really bad. There was trees down everywhere. We could not believe that none of them. I lost my hothouse. A tree fell on it, but and the fence which we haven't got repaired yet. Um, and it moved one of our storage sheds. It moved it off of the mounted railings or whatever you would call this. It moved it up and over. Didn't hurt it. And then we have a barn-sized one in the back. Didn't move it, didn't hurt the house, didn't do anything. Um, the house, I lost it, and I was upset because my husband built the floor and everything that was in there, but it was just gone. It was pieces. And yet the barbecue grill was sitting 20 feet away, patio furniture, none of that got hurt. Out front, it took the bench and flipped it. It landed right at the edge of our property, but then it wasn't broken. There was none of the glass tables were broken. The coffee table was right in front of that bench, and the coffee table never moved. So we were astonished at this, and Robert's trying to tell me this, but I can't be shown. So he's doing the pictures when you can finally see. And I'm like, "Oh my loving God," because we had a huge forest beside us between this house and another house, and then we had behind us about probably 4 or 5 acres as well. And then you couldn't see the other side of the subdivision where their houses were. That was gone. That was gone. Yeah, suddenly I could see fucking everybody. I hate that. I like my privacy. My grandson's funny. He says, "Grandma, you just don't like people, do you?" So I like people. I just like them to get the fuck out of my way. I'm one of those that's gonna lead. I'm not following shit. Even in the military, it was my way. I ran whatever division I was in. You didn't get too many secretaries who were also nurses back in that day and trained as regular soldiers. So I was purely popular for a while. Loved it. Loved it. I still miss it. And civil service miss it too. Hell, the doctors do their own shit. And I said, you probably threw 40 million people out of work by doing that shit. Of course they have to. And so you see your doctor now. The VA is 20 minutes. If you're not been seen by that amount of time, they can rebook you, or you can go ahead go home and they'll send it some other time, but they won't hold it against you somehow. I don't know how shit works. So I'm like, I'm looking. So they only got 20 minutes for each patient, basically. And you get in there and they go, "How you doing? You everything good? Medicine's good? Okay, see you next time." This time they gave me an entire year. I'm still broke when I see it. I'm still in a wheelchair, man. And this bitch tells me, "You're good. We'll see you." She didn't tell me. She just said, "Oh, you're good. We'll get all this taken care of." Gave me a hug, feel better, kind of thing, out the door. And my husband's like, "Did we even get to see her?" I was like, "No." She talked something. I don't know, something about the prescription, but I was good to go. So let's do this. And you stop and you tell them, "You're done. Do they want me to make an appointment?" And it was, "Yeah, they wanted to see you again a year from now." I was like, my husband says, "Are you fucking serious?" The guy's like, "Yeah, what's up?" He says, "She's still all broken." Y'all didn't even do the surgery. She's still broke. It was funny. I said, "Let it be." I don't like to come up here that much, especially it was very difficult on me, especially once that was done. They finally released me into physical therapy. So I had enough on my plate, still do. I kind of refused to accept defeat. It may not be 100% back, but it'd be 99% if I got anything to do with it. And I do. Mm. Was talking yesterday about the police. I love watching the police videos where they have paranormal activity, and they have had some scary shit. I'm talking women levitating and then shooting off. One woman got a piece of paper, turned back. The lady was gone. She wasn't in any system. The car wasn't in any system. Had a tag. Nobody knew anything about it. It was not a registered tag anywhere. They finally dug up something about, I think maybe it was the VIN on this car. It hit a telephone pole. They were trying to see if she was drunk, and she was doing all kinds of weird shit. So there's all kinds of those videos. You can check it out. If you like me to, I'll throw a little line in there so you can find it. But you basically, as everybody knows, just have to say, "I want to see the cops, see the ghosts." It's like, what next? Then I hear they finally got Ilhan Omar, the woman who hates America. I don't know what's going on because history was always and still is my thing. And if I remember from History 101, you had to be born a citizen of the United States of America in order to serve in any political arena in America. So I'm not sure we've got Pakistanis, we got Somalians, we got what the hell is going on? Why are the people running my country? I, I'm like Pete Heseth. He's like, "I want all you fat generals to either lose the fucking land or get out." The fuck? You're the head. You're the top of the military. You haven't passed a donut shop since 1940. Get a grip. In my day, when we were there, and they would stop you and they would check your breasts to see if it was clean and look in your shoes, and they would do all that stuff. And so nowadays they wear these fatigues that just Velcro. I hate those things. They're an embarrassment. That's fine for fighting and that's fine for being on base. I wore fatigues too. But when you leave the base, you should be in a good uniform. I'm talking your suit uniform. We called them Class A's. The Marines don't come out like that. They come out in their blues and they're gorgeous. I think it's wrong that they do this. I don't agree. I'm not sure they may all do that now. It's awfully lazy, um, especially when other countries look so good. I wouldn't have wanted to. I'd have rather been in civilian clothes if I was off base. If that was my military clothes, I mean, as a matter of fact, I only wore fatigues during training and stuff like that. I ran divisions, and so I had 14, 15 doctors, and so I was always in a suit uniform. The old green was with the hats, and yeah, I loved that thing, little black collar they had on there. And you had high heels, and you had your little purse. That's all you could carry. I mean, they had rights. You could not sling a backpack on and go running around. That just you didn't do that. You were representing your country. So if you stepped off base in uniform, you better be dressed uncovered right. And I don't see that. It annoys the shit out of me. So we've gone from that to this to heck, what the heck I'm doing. Was it in the Minnesota one? Oh my God. They're repossessing Lamborghinis and shit, right? And I love these women that are up there. You can't do that. I pay for this. I have daycare. I have let the daycare. It's for these children. It's for these children. Where the fuck are you putting the kid on the top of the roof? I mean, you have one kid. It took a dude who was a podcaster. I'm an amateur podcaster. I get up here and talk to y'all in the hopes that we can all get together as hippies and go, what the fuck are you doing? Unfortunately, I've never been able to understand any of the fact that you're 80 something years old and you got $230 million. I'll use Nancy there as an example. And they're still in the Senate. They're still in the House. Why? Those of us who are out here in the real world, and I've been all around the Senate, I've been all, I'm not impressed, wasn't impressed. And I had a good friend who was a senator back before they took down the Watergate Hotel. All of us used to kind of stop in there at lunch, get a drink or two. And like I called it my ex mother-in-law's martini on the rocks and Valium so she could go back for the next shift. And I respected her tremendously. And I still do. She was a great woman. She really, and very, very intelligent, raised 3 kids on her own and rose to the top of her profession. I raised one alone till he was 9 when I got married. So I can relate. It's not an easy thing to juggle all of that. It's just not. So we have all of this stuff going on, and I see that it's like I'm in the Mandela effect. And I did see that man's funeral, just as an aside. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the Mandela effect that I'm going, yeah, that's the one. No, it's not there. Yeah, it was. So you're going crazy. You think your mind is that off, but no, it's not. It's just not. Um, how she got elected, I don't know how many times. The salary is only like $175,000. It's only, that would make the rest of my retirement. However, that's not $30 million, which is what her tax records purportedly are. And I think, have asked the IRS to investigate this because it's supposed to have been earned with their new winery that they got a couple years ago. That nobody can find any of their wine. So I don't know what the hell they're selling, but it's apparently not wine. It'd be like 100 Biden's paintings. So we weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. Come on. I know there's some brave people out there. You can say it. It's in the history books. It's actually on television. The freaking Easter Bunny had to go over and grab old Sleepy Joe and point him 2 feet to the side to the direction he had to go down the little sidewalk in the fucking rose garden. And this guy had been in the Senate, vice president, now president, 50 years. Why? Why? What's up with that? Doesn't anybody besides me say, hey, let's see what goes on here? Where is this money coming from? The Clintons, they had to send stuff back when they left because they just didn't have anything. They were just broke. And they took like the Lincoln bedroom or I'm kidding, but you get what I pointed out to. They had to send some things back. But apparently his library has plenty of stuff they kept. I don't know. This is the funny thing. I did not have sex with that woman. I laughed so hard I cried. This guy was a governor of Arkansas and had a 8-year affair with a woman named Jennifer Flowers, who then he paid off because he was now running for president. And he didn't want her to come around anymore. Apparently, the wife was upset about that part. I don't know. She was always right there, so supportive. Then he had to peel me off if it might have been you. That's why my husband's never left. So she's got weapons, dude. So, that was bad enough. And I don't know how anybody missed that. Maybe that's on the other timeline too. And they may not even let me do this because I mentioned that, but it was true. And then he had the Monica Lewinsky thing. I felt bad for Monica Lewinsky. What the hell, girl? You were a good looking thing. You was young. You don't go after that mother. A waste of space. I mean, waste of space. Now they got her testifying about the Epstein shit. Now, I don't understand. For one thing, it took what, 30, 40 years for this to come forward? And I've yet to hear any testimony that said for anybody that these women were drugged, were tied up, they were put on planes, they were put in rooms and chained up so that the men could abuse them at their will. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. What I heard was that his name Maxwell, turned them on to you can make $4,000 this weekend if you come up and do massages. These kids went deliberately. And I've seen a lot of baby mamas, as they call them now, at 14 and 15. Most of these youngins were 16, 17. And they didn't go just the first time and go, oh shit. No, they went back and forth freely, it looks to me. So I can't figure out what the hell is really going on to begin with. It's been a real tragedy. And apparently these women were and still are struggling with this. But to me, and I read a lot of law, and I'm not a lawyer, I admit, but it seems like heresy. She said this, he said that, you did this, you did that, but nobody seemed to be under coercion, so that would make it heresy to me. So I don't understand. Danny Masterson is in jail for life for apparently trying to woo women on the set or whatever. I'm not sure. Maybe they said he was raping women. I'm not sure. I didn't catch up to it. And again, I didn't understand the time delay, and I didn't see evidence. And so again, it would be hearsay to me. I mean, if I were on the jury, I could not convict because that's not enough to convict you, as far as I'm concerned. You have to have proof. You can't tell me, well, he said, she said, this one did this and on this day and that day. And who's your witness? Who talked to you? Did you go to the hospital? Did you get it? No, none of that was done. So I don't know why some people went to jail. I don't understand it at all. Not because of who they were and all that, every point out, everybody goes to jail. I love the mug shot in the White House. You got to love Donnie, man. He ain't no filters on Donnie. And that's my nickname. He does the same thing. Pocahontas. I love that shit. Gulf of America. When I saw Hillary find out what that he had done that, it was at Jimmy Carter's funeral. God bless him. He was a great man. From right here in Georgia, my husband used to be at a farm that was right next to his farm. So he knew him. He talked to him. He helped out. They helped. I mean, just a regular guy. He kept building homes until they put him in the hospital. Bless his heart. But he was a great guy. It's like the senator, like I said, that I used to go to Watergate Hotel to the bar with. He's like, you got to stop. Somebody's going to shoot you. I didn't care who you were. If you were wrong, I was going to tell you. And I was going to tell you in great detail. And I was probably going to do it loudly, depending on how much I liked you. And that would have been easy to do when you were in D.C. And these people have been there for that long. So I can't find anything nice to say about many of them. I think there's one or two that actually earn their salaries. But most of them should be in jail for treason, giving them a blindfold and a cigarette. We went to fucking war, to Civil War. Fort Sumter fired a shot. And we went to fucking war. These people are turning over police cars, burning down police stations, saying go defund the police. We're sanctuary cities. We don't have to listen to federal law. Well, that's secession from the state. That's secession from the federal government. Guys, yeah, that would be war if I was president. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't be able to do that. That's sedition. That's secession. And that's what started the Civil War. So if you didn't want to listen to the federal government, you would have gone to whatever who's gal we decided to put you in. I like the new one, Alligator Alcatraz. I call it Gator Gitmo. Don't steal that. I like Gator Gitmo better. I'd like to see Tim Walsh and them down there. Mm. The one woman, Ilhan Omar, was sitting on, what was it? Defense? She was sitting on one of them, and suddenly she makes 30 million. She's doing insider trading, there's little doubt. Oh, Nancy Pelosi, she's been there since the 80s. Can you picture that? I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine being able to, and completely, one time she would say this for like 8 years. She would know whatever her talking point was for this or that. And then the next decade would come along and she's completely reversed herself. And by the time the third decade got here, it was just word salad and it was all for the children. These people, I don't understand why, but they were all for the children. You know, you're racist. You don't love the children. You want children to starve if you don't do things this way. No, I want you to get your sorry dumb ass out of my goddamn Congress. Take your drunk old ass somewhere else and steal from somebody else, by the way. I mean, it's just beyond belief that all these people are and have been getting away with that. There is no way that these same people from the top to the bottom, say Minnesota, the actual congressmen and so forth have had to come out, said, we want these records, we want this, that, and the other, and we want Tim Walsh's resignation right fucking now. Still, no. I don't think Tim Walsh's governor's house has even been raided. And yet, a former president, Donald Trump, Mr. Donald Trump's home was raided. Things were taken. His wife's underwear and shit were gone through. I'm sure she did. I'd have burned them before I wore them. I mean, you know, I'd have got gloves and maybe a second pair, and then whatever it was. I mean, burning shit. I mean, and why would you want your country to look so fucking bad that you would arrest a former president, sack his house? Now, who the fuck is running the country? Well, that ain't the citizens. No. That's the old guard still trying to make sure that the new guard, who is actually working for the people and for the United States, which, by the way, it was always America before the Civil War. Just so you get a history 101 here, I gave you one for free. The United States of America was added after the war, added after the Civil War, because we were now a united kingdom again, so to speak, although we don't use that word. United States. I did see when they were protesting, they came up with a no kings thing. I don't know. I couldn't figure out how come all these old white people are out standing around in the rain and the snow with a placard and the same T-shirt. All of them had the same shit on. They were going around throwing bricks, and they knew right where to go find the pot. I said, how do they know where the bricks are? I was like, oh, there's the lights, you know. I get it now. Obviously, it's a directed terror campaign. It's exactly what it was. This was terror attacks. What the Chinese did, as far as I'm concerned, was a bioweapon that we paid for, by the way, guys. Yeah, we paid for them to develop that. I don't know why it was released, except that it would kill millions, and it did worldwide, and nothing was done. I loved them all telling people at first, mask up. I'm like, these aren't going to work for shit. If I sneezed and you were 6 feet away from me, you got it. So what was the good of the mask? Well, that makes people feel better. Spray everything down. It was lock you down. You can't go anywhere, but you could go to fucking Walmart. You couldn't throw a wedding, but you could go to Walmart. So I didn't understand what that was about either. But I'm like that. I'm from the North. I'm from Chicago. It's like my drill said. One of these days. And it turned out I met his wife after I was already trained. I didn't have to go through any more training after boot camp. And I met his wife at the bar at the bowling alley one Sunday night there at Fort Jackson in Columbia. And he brought her up and introduced her, and we could have been twins. And I had been adopted, so I was thinking, I wonder if we're really related. She was a couple years older, probably about 7, 8 years, maybe a decade older than me. And she had the short hair. We had the same color eyes, same color hair. We were the same heights. She wasn't quite the same build because by the time I got through training, I like had no neck and I had these muscles everywhere. I mean, if you do what you're told to do, and you will do what you're told to do, you'll bulk up or you'll lose down, but you'll still be bulk. I mean, some of these people I'm seeing now that I'd like to know where they were in my life. I've seen some of these boys on these shorts that they put on YouTube singing. Oh my Lord, honey, I'd never let them go back. I kept them somewhere in a barn or something. I tease. My poor husband is he's a very long suffering husband. He's been put through the ringer as far as it goes with me. And with his phone call, he's probably due any second now. So I'll probably throw this in the can for today. I was hoping I could get through fast enough tomorrow. I'm not positive if I'll be able to make one tomorrow. If you prescribe or subscribe rather, it's free. Dingle the bell; it'll alert you when I'm on. Because sometimes I don't come on until 2 or 3. I try to get up here around noon because, like I said, I get to have one drink, and my drink comes in a little tiny bottle. Where is this? From the bar, but it's nice. It's just the one, and I like my whiskey on the rocks. And so I usually will pull out my Scottish clan symbol because my son made me do the DNA thing because I was adopted. I kept telling him, I'm British. I'm telling you, I'm British. You can see I'm so white, rice paper disappears next to my face. You can't tell. And I said so because of the red hair and the hazel eyes and all that. I'm British, and British was pretty much made up of all these people. They got some history. It's fun over there. And yes, I'm British. I'm very, very British. I have about less than 10% Irish and Scots. Yet I love a kilt. I love going to the Scottish Rites Festival and getting clan stuff, which is expensive, I gotta admit. It's still a lot of fun. I get a hoot out of that. Running around, look at the stars. I bought my son stuff, and I bought my husband a big sword, like the one that William Wallace used. Um, it's heavy. It's a big sword. It was supposed to have been, I think, 500 some odd dollars. I got it for like 75. I'm not sure if that's either someone breaking in and need my weapon because it's not close to me. Oh, it looks like one of my cats decided to do something. Yesterday, we have a cat rescue. I need to write a book. In any event, I have come almost up to my hour today. I didn't see anybody join me, so I didn't get to most topics. Again, if you guys tell me what you want to talk about, I won't sit up here and just rattle away. Which, if I'm not careful, those guys are going to show up where they give you cute little coats. Yeah, them little white coats where you walk around, you hug yourself. Yeah, I don't really want any of those. So join me, talk to me. Let's find out what's going on. I barely touched Minnesota, barely. And I still say 100 years ago, a little longer nowadays, this is 2026, but we'll go with 150 years ago. None of these politicians would be doing what they're doing. They would have done took him out, tired and feathered him, and sent him on down the railway. It was they just screw around, man. There's no way that anybody from the top down did not know. I feel bad for those who were at the bottom because they get nothing to begin with. And if somebody did try to be the whistleblower, God knows what will happen to him. You got a family, you got all this stuff to do. So you go with the flow. Same thing with us hippies. Some of my kids and his friends say, "You hippies are the front. You're the one running." I'm like, "Oh fuck no! It ain't never been the hippies. It's been the other side of people who were born during our generation, but they was never a hippie. They would run across the street, anything. They were never hippies." Because the real hippies would never do any wars. We wouldn't have been at war for 20 years and then giving Bergstrom Air Base back to the people. That was horrific. It reminded me of Saigon and watching those kids fall off of those planes. It was heartbreaking. The worst thing, was the 6 that were killed by an IED the day before they were to go home. We had a National Guardsman that was shot at. on Thanksgiving Day in the capital of the United States that they were there to serve and protect. And the female guard died. And I have a problem with it. I don't care if it's a female or male. The soldier died. And they volunteered for that shift so that people with families could have Thanksgiving. And this was how their country repaid them. They were murdered. And well, she was. So there's a lot going on I'd love to talk about, and see what everybody else thinks. And maybe we could actually make a difference again. I believe that we hippies made a pretty good difference as it was in the beginning. But then, just like any other generation, you have to kind of ride along because what are you going to do? You got kids, you got houses, you got cars, you got insurance. You know, the government has some of the best Ponzi schemes I have ever seen. Social Security, well, we'll tell you how much you get, when you're going to get it, for how long you're going to get it. Okay. Okay, then you got Medicaid, Medicare. Oh, yeah, but those two don't work unless you get Medicaid C. And you have to get that through the insurance company. So that's like $145 a month. Why did you take Medicaid A and B? And where's that money going? Oh no, that'll cover part of a hospital stay sometimes, but no, you got to have all three. So my husband has those, and I stuck with my VA, and I pay a monthly stipend. So, you know, although I got to admit, I have a huge tray that my husband bought me that sits up right. It has 6 shelves that are full of medication. I laughed and I said, if anybody breaks in here, they're going to think, oh God, we got all kinds of stuff. It's blood pressure and all that stuff. It's not any of the good stuff, people. But there is a lot of it. And I was like, if I were a pet, they would have said, just let them go. And we were joking about it. I think I'll just move on out to Oregon because you can do that. You can say goodbye to your loved ones and do this little shot and wake up on the other side for your next adventure, which I'm looking forward to. And speaking of getting out of the way, that would be me wrapping up today. I don't have no merch. I don't make any money. You can't do that. So if you see me and you want me to make anything or do anything, just let me know. If not, I'm sorry about you. And if you can, pop by. I have a great bar fully stacked. It'd be fun to talk to somebody else actually on a podcast. Maybe you never know. Bill Maher might invite me to come by. Ta.